So there is a very short code snippet on screen. Pause if you want to look at it at any length, but as we transition back in about 2 seconds, in real life, if I were to explain for the timestamp, because there's not a lot of time, and I might as well insert stuff here while I have the time, yeah, I've done some swerves on game development because I had everything in a package, or as 75% of the package filled, and I'm going to be reusing graphics, of course, but the end result, the game, was not up to what I wanted. So, that's enough of that. So we'll get into talking about actual custom World of Horror content as we get into Cthulhu, rash decisions, custom character, and finally we have the correct spell, because I did do a copy paste that made mistakes, which is why you saw the spell that you saw, or the quote-unquote spell. It wasn't really working because it wasn't a spell at all. Strength, Takushi-san, second knowledge, light. And as we get into this, Future Jordan should probably have set the thumbnail either to a splash screen or the event graphic, both of which have, I mean, it is a similar graphic, or the same graphic, but of course it looks different, and I think it's thematically correct. Now, is the whole mystery thematically whole? So, as we get footage, we'll do Valentine's A, so, oh my goodness, we don't get Kana. Ramen, Valentine's End, bulletin footage. Well, as per usual, we take Valentine's first, and to explain basically the code snippet you saw at the very beginning of the video, is that essentially that's I'm sure there's actually a more direct way to make it so that you can avoid perm specific, or a perm specific version of the boss, because again, if you don't have perm installed, what ends up happening is, I forget a weapon here, is that you're fighting a boss that has plus 100 HP, which you probably don't want to be fighting, because aside from very specific setups and pseudo infinites, you're not going to be able to do 100 plus damage just for free. Now, the exact example coming out of my mind, aside from Kana things, but that technically costs Doom, if you say use a Thotu Flame over and over and over again, is Eldritch Parasite, Mind Drain, or Ghostly Sphere. Yeah, but I'm trying to make it so that on average you can get out of Valentine's and defeat the boss and get ending A. Otherwise, I don't feel it's quite fair. Okay, let's actually get a weapon here, because I'm completely forgetting. And if I don't get to the boss in this run, then I'll just force the boss, like, at the end of the video, as I've done in about 1 or 2 episodes before, because, yeah, me losing is also not great. Which I will say is a result of, oh my goodness, we didn't get a single weapon here, by the way. I mean, yeah, that's a weapon, but 7 funds for 4 damage, 120 speed, strength weapon. It's strength, but it's... So, here's the butterfly knife. Is that going to be better for me? I mean, the strong attack is fast, so if we're looking at 2-turn, I guess it's fine. Actually, that's quite good, but... we do have footage, by the way, and I think we have bulletins, so force patrols we go, for the sake of a high threat level and not max threat level. And I did not get a heart, did I? No, I did not. I just ended up using the trinket once and not doing anything. I think the variable is saved, so it won't take me 3 attempts again. I could reset that if I want to be mean, but I'm not going to do that to you. So, off we go. But yes, the really quick 15-second explanation is you need to get 4 hearts if you're working with perm. If you're not working with perm, do whatever you want. That's not the first... I thought that's the impulse decision. Why did that happen? Anywho, yeah, you need 4 hearts. You need 4 Valentine's hearts. I'll call it specifically. In-game, they're probably just called something else. I think they're, lore-wise, we'll call them trinket hearts. So if you have 4 trinket hearts, you should be able to get out of Valentine's End relatively safely. You do still need to cough up like about 8-ish damage, unless for some reason you take Valentine's End last. Again, you're meant to take Valentine's End at the very end of your run as your 5th mystery, but if you don't, I mean, it's not up to me to choose. But... you can still defeat the boss with 3 hearts, because 3 hearts is, I put it so that its HP is about like 36-ish, maybe a little higher, but it's still defeatable. And if you only use 2 hearts or below, you have like 50 plus HP to chew through. So it's not impossible. Again, with a decked out Aiko katana setup, you can definitely still like 2-3 turn, but you're taking like 6 all damage unless you can brace somehow and still get 13 damage. So yeah. Yeah, that's all I can really say. Didn't visit the mansion. I probably should have. My Doom is at 44%, and we're not in our second encounter yet. Our second mystery. I do have a second encounter check, so whatever I run into next, I think is my second encounter, but that's enough of me yapping for the moment. Let me take a breath. But yeah, again, the whole point of me going through this whole run, so theoretically speaking, I could add a timestamp, but I've already gone through this run. If nothing else, you're seeing more perm stuff. It might not look like it, but I am adding small things here and there to the events of Valentine's End. Now, we're not in Valentine's End yet, but when we get there, I promise you, again, it's a lot of invisible things happening beneath the Ito file. It's not a lot, but hey, it's enough so that you can at least play the mystery comfortably. And again, the big one is that you are able to play without perm, and you'll run into a fair version of the boss. But yeah, so quick thinking, I think. I was going to take folklore studies, and then I was like, what am I doing with this character's life? But aside from that, I might just add in a few things to like characters here and there just to have some fun, you know, making items and whatnot. But otherwise, the kind of more meta part about this, as we roll a 9 on luck, is that I want to get done with this custom content, and I'm pretty sure I'm going past Valentine's Day because I'm pretty sure I want to also sit on what I have while I'm organizing it to upload it. Probably to Nexus Mods. I can't really think of another place to put perm-specific content, even though, again, I do try to make it so that you don't have to use perm to basically play the mysteries or whatever content I make balanced. But yeah, in this specific case, chewing through 100%, 100 plus HP is probably not going to be fun for most players. Can be a challenge. You can choose to do so if you want. I'm not going to force you to do one or the other. I forgot what my second encounter is. I think it was whatever was before Totoro. I also still need to grab 4 hearts. So 61% Doom. This is not, yeah, so if you had to look for hearts in 4 separate encounters, boy oh boy, would that have been... That's not great. I'm not going to make you go through that. So Bulletin, Ramen. Bulletin and then Ramen into Valentine's End. So, I mean, I think we'll just go through. So I did add the second option, so I guess we can do that instead. I don't need to grab hearts. It is just obviously not ending A, which, for those who don't know World of Horror, as we go through this, basically getting anything other than ending A, or getting ending A is considered most of the time a true end. There are some mysteries where it doesn't feel fulfilling, but that's a whole different issue entirely. Yeah, Ghost encounters on rash decisions are interesting. I think you can brace into doing certain... Let me actually test that out now. Can I at least do that? No. Oh, ghost encounters. I'm not blaming perm, and I'm not blaming the design of ghost encounters. It's just that the reality of putting the two together, or just ghost encounters in general, which means, yes, it seems like I'm being a bit mean with against ghost encounters, but I mean, just look what happens when you run into a bad one. That was a custom enemy, but still, it wasn't the craziest custom enemy. So I'm shrugging in real life as I say ghost encounters and certain backstories or certain situations are going to be really, really, really bad, as to oppose the number of situations in which they're really, really good. And in that case, it's not that they're really, really good, it's more that... What's the best word to say? I also need to visit... Oh, next forest. We're not going to get to Valentine's End, are we? I guess I might as well just force it here, if I can even survive that long. My Doom just increased by 2 there, was that correct? Anywho. Oh yeah, it was correct, because even though... if that's correct, because max threat level... And maybe whatever handles custom content, whether it's perm or something else, handles it so that you at least take that damage. Now we do need to visit it again because I don't want to fight this boss, but my Doom increasing left, right, and center is not great. So, by the way, -1 all for 5 Doom, just sign me up all the time. I was gonna say something, but I got so flabbergasted by what was happening on screen that I just decided I forgot, and that I decided to talk about something. Chant the words, 1 stamina, as opposed to -1 all. Trade. That being said, we're gonna heal Reason here instead. I'm gonna lose this run even before I get to anything, even if I take Valentine's End early, but that was not fun, so I'm going absolutely insane. That was that fun. I'm going crazy. Well, off to Valentine's End I go. I probably shouldn't be playing with rash decisions while I'm trying to playtest, essentially, because this is basically a hot playtest, but I mean, there's not much else to say. I wanted to test it out because I'm not done with the mystery yet, and for no other reason than, as you may have already seen, the graphics aren't done. So, yeah. Again, I'm not going to go crazy, and this is just a placeholder in case you don't give anything to the image. But as we do our best to survive, because rash decisions mean this is going to be interesting, yeah, if we can get to the end, I'll at least run away and again give you the bigger behind the scenes, because again, we'll talk about the big one, which is not just being able to not fight the boss, but also that you are able to play without perm and run into a boss that's fair for not using perm. With perm, of course, you use this trinket and whatnot, but shrug. At this point, I think I might just... I'll see what I do. So, as we take Doom left, right, and center, we're probably not going to make it to the end without more Doom decrease. As for funds, okay, cool. We might still be able to make it to the end. Do I have a stamina recovery skill? No, so we'll check the lockers instead and do our best. We do have a lump of flesh, by the way, so we'll take that out and use it. I'll take a lump of flesh and eat it, but as for any other kind of healing, it's getting really dicey. Again, I look at 8 charisma and my tear runs down my eye because I can't use ally attack, which makes me really, really sad. So that does go off the screen. I do need to cut that text down, so we'll see what happens. You'll notice that there's an extra seaside check, by the way. Oh, I almost thought, okay, that was a general event. Thank goodness, because we would have doomed out there. We're probably going to doom out here regardless, but we'll at least see the rest of this. Actually, I think you fail right here. Okay, no. Funny enough, the linked events don't trigger the doom ending, but as we quote-unquote run away, yeah. And I think I can show, yeah, so there, after getting out of the event, then you'll game over. But if I restart or basically pop up World of Horror in another sense, let's see what this looks like with OBS, by the way. Okay, it looks interesting, because this one is not using perm, if I can check really here right quick. But if I were to run into Valentine's End and show you, and I didn't really show you the boss, but it's really a trust me bro statement. And if nothing else, I'll work out the kinks later on. But if I run to the boss, you'll get basically a fair version of the boss. The reason for that is because as I showed you at the very beginning, I set a variable, I set a string, and have basically the game look for a false version of it if you're in perm, and if you're not, and the string will never be that variable basically. So I set a variable when you run into Arika during Valentine's, so the variable's set there. However, when we get to the end of Valentine's End, it will look for a string name that is not anything that the game ever sets, which means it's false. And if it's false, that means you're using perm, and therefore I tunnel you into the perm version of the boss. However, if you're not working with perm, or you, I guess, you sequence break for whatever reason, still the string name is not going to be, I think, if the variable is not set, you end up I think it's false. I don't think it sets the variable, and if it does, well, that's something I'm going to play test right after this recording. But yeah, you will run into basically the nommed perm version of the boss. So right here is where I make the check here. You don't see it, but it makes the check. And one way that I made it apparent is that I think I changed the text somewhere along the line. So if I run into this boss right here, should be 31 HP. So, I mean, it's the first mystery, so it'll be 31 HP. After 5 mysteries, it is it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 37 HP. So still high, but if you're taking it as intended, the mystery as intended, then yes, you will run into a boss that's not as hard as some bosses even in base World of Horror if you try to fight them. Prominent examples include base Akamanto or ending A Akamanto, the boss of Coma if you go through the side quest, and I think those are the two that stand out to me the most. You might say the old man from the mansion might be a boss, but he's more just chunky, because I think -3 all is worse than +5 Doom. And +5 Doom is, I think, a high what happens when that boss scales. So as you can see here, we already take down. Now, Kana is a very certain character that doesn't have to deal with stamina reason loss, but Doom is still a still an issue. But 14% Doom after 1 mystery, without, if we don't get a weapon, that can be troublesome. But it's still okay-ish for me. So yeah, without further ado, not really much else to say. But yeah, if you have anything to say, you know what to do. Not going to take up much more of your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!